Just please sign in and state your name for the record. That'd be great.
Georgiana Woodhall, 4560 Broadway Boulevard.
Thank you.
I had a couple of questions on the MS4 building as well as the MS4 definition of vacant property. I know Mr. Duncan mentioned at the last meeting that people were being charged different prices for the vacant lots, and I wanted to know if that issue was resolved or, what happened with that. Because I just got my bill.
As far as the individual that I was speaking about, it has been resolved. They were, I believe it's $39 per lot,
30.
whatever it is.
There's a flat fee for a vacant lot.
It was.
Okay.
And he misinformed me as far as he had a shed on one lot, and that's why it was different. It's actually a vacant lot, but it had a shed with water shed. So, yeah, that has been
Okay, and,
rectified.
I was a little confused on a definition. My definition of a vacant lot would be an empty lot. I'm not sure what your definition of a vacant lot is.
Well, I can't tell you it off by heart, but that's,
Because I received the bill for my vacant lot, and I meant to bring the picture tonight, but I walked out without it because it is not a vacant lot. It is a lot at the bottom of Haymaker Road that is on Forbes Road, where our property goes across Forbes Road. It is divided by Forbes Road and joins the neighboring last house on Haymaker Road, joins their property in about the middle of the drive, which would be a driveway, if you want to call it that.
it's two different parcels.
What's one parcel? It's divided by
the road.
the road. So I'm not sure how that can be
Well, what was your
considered a
bill?
vacant property. Well, it's $30. It's on a
Okay,
vacant lot.
what's
It's $30 this year. I don't know what it'll be next year or what it'll continue to be.
It should probably
But
stay at 30, but that's a
like, who would
vacant
be
lot.
responsible? Wouldn't,
Well, I'm sorry, so, for one thing, we're getting outside of what's on our agenda for this evening, and this seems like this is a question for the
appeal board that doesn't exist yet?
appeal board, which we are going to be setting up. However, in the interim, Mr. Little is the one who can answer these questions for you.
Yeah, I've had some discussions with Mr. Little.
And if maybe
'cause
you and
I'm
I,
trying
you
to
and him could maybe set up a meeting to discuss this, and that way
Okay,
they can
but
go over.
let me ask you this. The MS4 is to take care of problems, correct? So if a water problem is on a state road, or if a water problem is on a county road, then that would, what I've been told for years, 30 years, is not the responsibility of the municipality. So how is that going to help me?
I was,
My,
Because there's drainage problems on both the Forbes Road property and also on the state 130 property.
Well, the way that the program was set up was that it was the money that is needed to maintain all the infrastructure and to follow everything that goes with the permit. It's a way to spread the financial responsibility between all of the property owners.
fair and equally.
But would you be responsible on a state road or a county road? Because I've been told in the past that that's not your responsibility on a state road or a county road.
Correct.
I don't believe it is.
Well,
No,
then
it
why
is
am
not
I
our
paying
fault.
you an MS4 fee if you can't help me with the problems that I have on the state road or on the county road?
Well, the water problems are in the entire community, and we are all chipping in.
Yeah, I get that.
Maybe if I can, did you submit an appeal?
You told me the appeal board wasn't set up, might not be set up until March.
Still wanna-
You're
You
still
didn't
Okay,
have
that is
anybody
true.
on it, but I will be.
Okay. Why don't you do this, Georgianne? Go on the website. The appeal process is due this Friday. Okay, you have until this Friday, at least submit an appeal, all right? Now, that's the first thing. The second thing is you and I discussed on the phone, you have a piece of property where Forbes Road bisects, if I visualize this correctly. Now, the question becomes, that is a right-of-way, and I don't know, I'm just speaking conventionally. That is a right-of-way over top of that, but you still own, I'm thinking, now maybe you don't, I don't know. You probably still own the property in fee simple, even
Right.
though the road goes over in
Exactly.
a
I still
right-of-way.
pay taxes.
Okay, now, but, I'm not going to make a judgment here. Submit an appeal. It will be reviewed by me and Paul Hugus and Jamie Story and I. We do this once a week. Any appeals come in, we review them. If granted, case closed. If it's denied, then you may have the right, depending on if it's kind of a no-brainer, yours sounds like a little bit, it is a unique situation, then you would have the right to go to the Board of Appeals. So I would submit that appeal by this Friday, get that on the record that you have appealed, at least get that on the record.
Okay, now there's drainage pipe on the property, not on the Haymaker side of the property, but onto the opposite side of the road. There is a huge draining pipe there and a water problem there. So I'm not sure, if it would be up to the municipality to come and view that before an appeal or how you want to
I
do
don't
that.
think that has anything to do with the
Nothing to do.
appeal. You're trying to appeal the fee, the charge.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that type has nothing to do with.
So if you could
Okay,
move on to your
just-
question about the building, 'cause
Yeah.
that is on the agenda?
Yeah, I just wondered why they were not utilizing an existing building, why we're
There's nowhere
building
near
a
the
new
room.
building.
Nowhere near the room, not even close.
Okay, I would like to answer.
Okay,
There's going to be equipment, there's going to be manpower, there's going to be materials. These all have to be housed somewhere. Everything needs to be kept separated so that we can turn it into the federal government down to the penny of what is used. There's no room at the Public Works. You can't, there's no space to put things there. We can't share with them because they have their own work to do. So we have to have a complete separate workforce. We've had trouble even finding a temporary building while this building is put up.
okay, now how much is that building, do you think that would cost?
Well, that's what we're in the process of getting
Okay.
quotes. And it is, if you look at the budget, it's budgeted in there for this process to happen.
It's in the
Okay.
MS4
And
budget.
the only other thing that I wanted to bring up also is, looking for ways to save money and to pay for things. And, I don't like to really go back, but during the gas ordinance, we were looking at properties owned by the municipality. There were on this 3-page list I have, over 24 properties owned by the municipality. Now, 4 out of that were parks, and so that was taken away. But why are we sitting on 3 pages of 20-some properties that are just an expense to the taxpayers? Because you said your municipality is going to have to pay on all these properties, MS4. And really, it's us paying, taxpayers paying twice. We're paying for our personal property, and then we're paying on these 20-some properties here.
Well,
Like,
are you talking
why
about
could they not
parkland-
be
are you talking about
sold?
Parkland?
No, not the parkland. These are properties anywhere on Stewart Street, Haymaker, Monticello Drive, Brickyard Road, Thomas Street.
Well, those are all things to be considered.
I mean, it really adds up. I mean, if these properties were sold, the municipality would be in great shape.
That's an
We-
idea.
Probably if they were sold,
That's an idea that I think Mr. Little can maybe look into, and that's something maybe council could
yeah,
consider.
if these properties were sold, you probably wouldn't have to give us a fee for this MS4.
It's
I
not-
don't know.
I'd like
I
to
don't
make
know
a
about
comment
that.
on this whole thing.
Okay.
I'm not in favor of feeing vacant lots.
I know, I
And I
heard
want
that
that
at the
to be
meeting.
known.
I heard that at the meeting,
I
Steve.
just don't understand
And
that. That
the only-
makes no logic to me.
No,
But-
and the thing is, like, I, honestly, I'm going to close on this. When this committee was put together to work on this MS4, of all the people on council, Mr. Duncan, who was on Public Works, would have been the ideal person to be involved with this. And for him to say, I wasn't aware of this, and not be included in the loop to help with this project, to me, is just very disappointing. The most educated one in Public Works, spent his career in Public Works, and, didn't have any input into it. But
Thank you for
I
your
will
comments.
get-
If
I
you
will
could place
get
the
that
appeal, like
in.
Mr. Little said, definitely do that by the end of the
I
week.
will, and the only other thing I have to get with the municipality, I'm going to ask for your help in the problem that I have with the catch basin in front of my home that is destroying my property.
You can bring that up to Mr. Little at the same time.
I will, thank you.
Thank you.